Welcome to Radio English. Learn by ear. Today's story is about the loneliness that people hide behind their smiles. Life looks bright on the outside. People smile on social media. They post happy photos. They say everything is fine. But behind those smiles, there are quiet corners that almost no one sees. Let me tell you about a woman named Sarah. Sarah worked in a busy office in the city. She was always smiling. She helped her colleagues. She brought coffee for everyone. On weekends, she posted photos of nice food and short trips. Everyone thought she was happy. Everyone thought her life was perfect. One evening, after work, the office was almost empty. I walked past her desk and saw her sitting alone. Her eyes were red. She quickly wiped her tears when she noticed me. I asked softly, "Are you okay?" She smiled again, the same bright smile, and said, "Yes, just tired." Later that week, she told me the truth. Her mother was very sick in the hospital. Sarah had to pay a lot of money for the treatment. At night, she went back to her small apartment and cried alone. Her friends were busy. She didn't want to bother them. So she kept smiling at work and carried the pain by herself. This is one of the quiet corners of life, the loneliness that hides behind a smile, the silent worry about money, the quiet sadness that no one notices. Many people do the same thing every day. They put on a mask in the morning. They pretend everything is fine because they don't want to look weak, or they are afraid people will judge them, or they simply think no one really cares. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you asked someone, "How are you?" and they answered, "I'm fine," but you could feel something was wrong? The quiet corner is not always something big and terrible. Sometimes it is just quiet loneliness, quiet pressure, quiet emptiness that stays inside for a long time. In this first part, I want you to remember one simple thing. Everyone has a quiet corner. Even the people who look perfect, even the people who always smile. We all carry something we don't show the world. After Sarah told me her story, something changed inside me. I couldn't stop thinking about her words. I kept seeing her face, the bright smile at work, and the red eyes in the empty office. For the next few days, I started looking at people differently. On the train, I watched the man sitting across from me. He was reading emails on his phone, face calm, almost peaceful, but his shoulders were tight and he kept rubbing his eyes. I wondered, what was he carrying that no one could see? At the cafe near my office, I saw a young woman laughing with her friends. Her laughter was loud and bright, but when her friends looked away for a moment, her smile disappeared completely, just for 2 seconds. Then she put it back on, as if nothing had happened. I began to notice these small moments everywhere. The tired eyes behind polite greetings, the short silence after someone said, "I'm fine," the way people looked away when the conversation became too real. And then, slowly, I started looking at myself. I realized I had been doing the same thing for a long time. I always answered, "I'm good," when people asked how I was. I always smiled in meetings. I always said I was busy, but in a way that sounded successful, not tired. But the truth was quieter than that. Some nights I came home and sat in the dark for a long time, just like Sarah. Some mornings I woke up already feeling heavy, but I still put on a clean shirt and walked out the door with a normal face. I never told my friends. I never told my family. I told myself it was normal. Everyone is tired. Everyone is busy. Why should I be different? But after hearing Sarah's story, I could no longer pretend I didn't see it. The quiet corner was not only in her life, it was in the people around me, and it was in me too. We live in a world that loves strong people, people who keep going, people who never complain, people who always have an answer. So we learn to hide the parts that feel weak. We hide the nights we cry. We hide the mornings we don't want to get up. We hide the quiet fear that maybe we are not as strong as we look. And the strange thing is, the more we hide it, the lonelier it becomes. Because when everyone is wearing a mask, no one can really see anyone else. We walk past each other every day, smiling, nodding, saying, "I'm fine," while carrying entire stories that never get told. That week, I kept thinking about one simple question. If so many of us are hiding something, why do we still feel like we have to hide it alone? After that week of noticing everything, I felt heavier than before. Seeing the quiet corners in other people was one thing. Seeing the same corner inside myself was harder. One evening, I met Sarah again. We sat in a small cafe near the office. It was raining outside, and the windows were covered with water. For a while, we just drank our coffee in silence. Then I said something I had never said to anyone before. "I've been thinking about what you told me," I said, "and I realized I've been doing the same thing. I smile. I say I'm fine, but some days I feel completely empty." Sarah looked at me for a long moment. She didn't look surprised. She just nodded slowly, as if she already knew. "I thought I was the only one," she said quietly. "It's strange, isn't it? We all walk around with these heavy things inside, and we still believe we have to carry them alone." We talked for a long time that evening, not about solutions, not about how to fix everything, just about the truth of it, about how tiring it is to keep the mask on, about how lonely it feels when no one really sees you. When I walked home that night, the rain had stopped. The streets were quiet. Something inside me felt a little lighter, not because the tiredness had disappeared, but because I had finally said it out loud. I started to understand something important. The quiet corner does not become smaller when we hide it, it becomes heavier. But when we share even a small part of it with someone who listens, the weight changes. It doesn't disappear completely, but it becomes easier to carry. I still have days when I feel empty. I still have mornings when I don't want to get up. I still put on a normal face when I leave the house. But now I know I don't have to do it perfectly. I don't have to pretend all the time. Sometimes I tell a close friend, "Today is a heavy day." Sometimes I just sit in silence and let myself feel tired without judgment. And sometimes, when I see someone else smiling a little too hard, I remember Sarah's red eyes in the empty office, and I try to be a little kinder. We all have quiet corners. Some are made of loneliness. Some are made of exhaustion. Some are made of fear we never talk about. But those corners do not make us weak. They make us human. And maybe the most important thing we can do is stop pretending we don't have them. Maybe the bravest thing is not to keep the mask perfect, but to let someone see the real face behind it.
even for a moment. Because when one person is honest, it gives permission for others to be honest too. And slowly, the quiet corners become a little less lonely.
Who is the main person the speaker first talks about? The main person is Sarah. What did Sarah always do at work? She always smiled and helped her colleagues. What did the speaker see Sarah doing one evening after work? He saw her sitting alone with red eyes, wiping her tears. Why was Sarah hiding her pain? Because her mother was very sick and she didn't want to bother anyone. What changed inside the speaker after hearing Sarah's story? He started noticing the quiet pain that other people were also hiding. What did the speaker realize about himself? He realized he had also been hiding his tiredness and emptiness behind a normal face. Where did the speaker meet Sarah again in part 3? They met in a small cafe near the office. What did the speaker tell Sarah that he had never said before? He told her that he had also been feeling empty while pretending to be fine. What happened after the speaker shared his true feelings? He felt a little lighter, even though the tiredness did not completely disappear. What important lesson does the speaker want us to remember at the end? The quiet corners make us human, and the bravest thing is to let someone see the real face behind the mask.